right, shalom, shalom. Like to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to the elect all over the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Okay, this is 1 Samuel 17, and with David conquering Goliath, kind of pertaining to the last video that I did, showing that, David had faith in the Lord, and when the power of the Lord, is with you, you can conquer, you can conquer whatever. You can conquer all things, So I'm gonna start at let's see, verse 17 and verse 29. It says, "And David said, What have I done now? Is there not a cause?" And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. It says, "And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." So David brother was basically telling him, why you trying to do this? You young, and you want to see it, but you supposed to be with the sheep. What you do with the sheep, this and that, and David said, "Well, is there not a cause? Isn't we up against our enemy, and they trying to defeat us? They taunting us, So the spirit of the Lord is on me to come in destroy and slay Goliath." See, and that's what David was basically telling his brother. Okay, now keep going. It says, "And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fall because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." So David saying, listen, let your servant, me, I'm the servant, let me go and fight this Philistine, okay? And let not no one die, because basically can't nobody else do it. I am the man for the job. So David was trusting and believing on Yahweh Shai that the spirit was with him and that he could conquer Goliath, okay? That he could devour him. And he was not holding back. He was like, "No, listen, I'm the one that I want to go. Let me go. Let thy servant go." You see? And it says, "And Saul said to David, Thou art not able to go against thy Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a young, and he a man of war from his youth." See, so Saul couldn't see that the spirit of the Lord was on David. See, Saul was saying, listen, this is a great warrior of the Philistines that's been fighting from his childhood. He was brought up and trained to go to war and fight. And you just a young man. You just young, and basically, you just deal, herd the sheep and this and that. Okay? Keep going. It says, "And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock." So when Saul told David that, guess this is what David came back with. He said, "Okay, well, let me tell you how the Lord has been dealing with me. Let me show you the power that the Lord have shown me." So David started telling him his testimony, right? So he said, "And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took the lamb out of the flock. And I went after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. See? So David will tell him, look, man, the bear and the lion came. He said, I took that lion, man, I slew him. Because you telling them basically the Spirit of the Lord is with me. Okay? And the Spirit of the Lord is going to be with me again to defeat Goliath. Okay? Hey, it's a lot of people that is not going to believe and cannot see that the Spirit of the Lord is dealing with the elect of Israel, the men of the Lord. Okay? A lot of people ain't going to be able to see that. But we have to hold to our faith and our trust that the Lord is still with us and going to be with us and that he's going to deliver us. See? We don't let the crowd dictate if we were successful or defeated. We don't let the crowd do that. No. We let Yahweh Shema Shai dictate if we were victorious or fail. See? We ain't listen because you listen to the crowd will get you fucked up. The crowd will get you messed up, man. We have to listen and go after. Salakia, follow after Yahweh Shema Shai, not the crowd. Because the crowd ain't moving in the Spirit of the Lord. See? And I believe we're gonna get put in those situations. Okay? And we gotta be believing in Yahweh Shema Shai. We gotta trust in the Lord. Because that's the only thing that's gonna deliver us. You see? All right, let me keep reading. It says, verse 36. It says, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defiled the armies of the living power, Yahweh Shema Shai. See? So David tell him, listen, the Philistine, he's going to be, he's going to be as that lion and that bear that I slew. Because the Lord, I experienced the Lord with me, and he's still with me. And I can do the same with this Philistine. David was in the spirit, you know. David was in the spirit, man. And when a brother in the spirit, you just got to let him go. Don't try to quench. Scripture say don't quench not the spirit. You got to let him go. See? It says, David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. So he said, well, go, and the Lord be with thee. And then watch what Saul do. And it says, Saul armed David with his armor, and he put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with the coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he said to go. It says, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these. It says, for I have not proved them. And David put them off. Right. I hadn't went through the proper training to fight with this armor that you've loaded me down with. That's not the way that I am going to be able to defeat this Philistine. This is not the way that I was trained. See, and David was only, the training that he had is that he knew how to move according to the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. He recognized that the spirit was with him when he slew the lion and the bear. So guess what? He know that the Lord is going to be with him this time around to slay the Philistine. See, that's the training that we are in here in this truth. See, we putting on the whole armor, which is spiritual, The helmet is spiritual. The shield is spiritual. The sword is spiritual. Okay? And that's how we're going to defeat, okay, our enemies and that comes up against us. That is how. And we have examples of men that's came before us that have used these same examples. Okay? Moses had the Spirit of the Lord with him. The Spirit of the Lord was literally with Moses. Yahweh Shemel Shai was with Moses. Okay? And Moses did according to Yahweh Shemel Shai. See? You know? Even after the fact, even when the Lord told him that he wasn't going to make it into the promised land, he said, but I'm going to allow you to see it. But I want you to charge Joshua. And Moses did it. He didn't get prideful. He didn't get attitude. He just continued to do what the Lord said do. You see? And we have to do the same. We have examples. Follow the examples that was placed before us. That's why we're able to read about the examples, because the Lord wants us to use these examples. You see? Don't just be a hearer of the word, but be a doer of the word. See? Okay, let me keep reading. It says verse 30. I read 39 where David put them off, right? Well, I read again. It says, and David girded his sword upon his mantle, and he said, Salakia. I got the hiccup, Salakia. It says, for he had not proved it, and David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off, and he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had, even in his strip, and his sling, and his sling, which was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. So here it is. David took him 5 stones, right? 5 smooth stones, and put them in his sling, right? Put them in his sling, right? Okay. And it, he chose them out of the brook, put them in it, and he took his sling, put them in it, and took them stones. And it says, and the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him. And he was but a young and ruddy and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. But there's no enchantment against Jacob, remember? So that ain't gonna work. Okay, you can do all the hoorah, hooray, or whatever, but that ain't gonna work. Okay, because you coming up against the Spirit of the Lord. See, and Satan can't listen. If the Lord doesn't allow it, Satan can't get in touch the elect of Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. See, it says, and the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto thy fowls of the air and the beasts of the field. Listen what David said. Then David said to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel whom thou hast defiled. So David said, listen, you coming to me with that physical, your sword, your shield, the buckler. But guess what? I'm coming to you with the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's all I need is the spirit. It says, verse 46, it says, this day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcass of the host of the Philistine this day unto the fowl of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, and all the earth may know that there is a God in it, Israel. That's right. So he told him, I'm gonna take your head. I'm gonna take your carcass, and I'm gonna give it to the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth. Oh, okay, to show that there is a power of God, Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, that is still with Israel. And that's what we show. We show that power. We show that power when we come together and call on Yahweh Shema Shai. When we come together, that's the power. That's the power that we show forth. And that's a power that cannot be defeated, that will not be defeated. It says, and all the assemblies shall know that Yahweh Shema Shai saveth not with the sword and the spear. See, it says, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you unto our hand. That's right. That's why the Lord said our battle is not carnal. See, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities up in high wickedness in high places. See, we're spiritual. Now the Lord is going to put that spirit on us. Okay? Well, we're going to turn from fishers to hunters. Okay? But the way that we have to go about on the daily now is fighting in the spirit, man. It said, and it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, and David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine, David took off in that sprint toward the Philistine. It's like a charge. Okay? You have two parties charging toward each other. Okay? It said, and David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead. And the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face on the earth. So in mid-stride, when David charged to him in mid-stride, he took that stone and he put it in that sling and slung it. And the Spirit of the Lord guided that stone straight to the forehead of the Philistine. See? Just the same way that the Lord is going to guide those missiles, okay, to make sure they do the damage to destroy this place, America, so that it would never be inhabited again. That same spirit. It says, so David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. David didn't have no sword. See? You get down on him. Get down on him with them. Nothing but the Spirit of the Lord. That's all you need. And the Lord will allow you to do what you need to do with your bare hands. If it's just a sling or string, on the sling, whatever. That's the power of the Lord, man. Therefore, David ran. It says, but there was no sword in his hand. Verse 51, therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof and slew him. He took the sword of the Philistine and cut his head off. Therefore, David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword. See? Because David didn't have no sword. See? And smite the Philistine and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore, David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof and slew him and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their companion was dead, they fled. They fled. And the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines till thou came to the valley and the gates of Ekron, and the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way of Sharemah, even unto Gath and unto Ekron. See? So David slew the Philistine, okay? Because he knew that he was going to trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. David knew he was going to trust in the Lord because the Lord had showed him his power. And he said, wait a minute. I've been the Lord. Listen, the Lord was with me before. Why would he not be with me now? See? And that's the mindset that we have to have going forward. Listen, the Spirit of the Lord is with us, man. We can defile and conquer anything that's placed before us through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. The power of the Lord is with us, okay? Because it's about to be some major tests that the Lord put us through, and we're going to have to show that we are believing and that we have faith and that we trust the men of the Lord, that we trust Yahweh Shema Shai, that we trust the brother that's with us in this whole fighting, in this walk fighting with us. You're going to have to. Okay? And if you can't do it, then the Lord going to weed you out. You can't show that trust, you know? So yeah, just wanted to hit that. Pray that this was edifying. I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. So like your peace and safety to the elect. Shalom.